Yeah, the lessons learned, it's what I started at the beginning. The lessons learned are do not go there, right? Since the fall of the Ottoman Empire, everything that the West has done has been a mistake. Taking the colonial mandate and placing it on tribes and flags in religious context has never worked. It just has never worked. So all those centralized models have failed. What's worked is benevolent monarchies. They have worked. So look around our region, look around our zip code, and those have worked. Why? Alignment of religious interests, alignment of political interests, a benevolent and understanding government that doesn't need to be corrupt because it's allocating resources. Many of these are the fossil fuel beneficiaries. So this president has gone to lessons learned and said since 1919, since the Paris Treaty and the San Remo Treaty and the Oslo Treaty, every treaty that has imposed these Western standards has not worked. So what we're trying to do is just usher the availability to the region and say, let's try something new. You have all the power. You have all the money, energy, AI. Look at what's happening with chips. Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi, Bahrain, trading the idea of prosperity from just pumping oil to prosperity by creating portfolios of the next regime. Syria, in addition to that, is marching towards Israel. We're on our 5th set of discussions with Israel. Border and boundary discussions, de-escalation. You could very quickly have a realignment of a tapestry that we haven't seen in the Middle East. Yeah, so look, it's a complicated question. I think everybody's right? Everybody's running and saying, just stop this. Stop the senseless killing. However we get there, just stop the senseless killing. So I look at a tremendous victory just getting the hostages back. The day-to-day, we all know, you kill one terrorist, you create 7 others. You kill a father, you have 3 sons, 2 daughters, and a wife who now, for 100 years, have an issue and a problem. Whether now the Palestinians become Israelis and it becomes one state, or there's some hybrid form of what that is, will have to evolve. It's not the issue at the moment. The issue at the moment is time out, stop the killing, get humanitarian care in, start defining what could the essence of the de-escalation and peace plan be, and flood it with momentum. So I think what you're going to see in Jared and Steve's plan as to what's coming, which the world is stepping in, the Gulf is helping us, is you could have a resurgence in which that definition of is it Palestinian Authority, is it Hamas, is it Hezbollah, is it some other definition of Palestinians living in an Israeli environment, could evaporate as you start marrying interests, and that's the hope. And whether it's 2-state or 1-state is yet to be determined. We're living in a really difficult zip code. You have the 3 ethno-religious dominant religions in the world living here, the Middle East. We also have 23 of the most viable foreign terrorist organizations in the world, 18 of them within our zip code. So we're fighting all of these counter winds at a moment where you have a president of the United States who happens to be the leader saying enough. 100 years of this confusion, of these old thoughts, of these old ideas, and people not moving off of them, when you have the most dominant region in the world, if you combined capital with fossil fuels, with resourceful people, has got to end. And that's where he is. That's what we're trying to do. Lebanon is a failed state. There's no central bank. The banking system is bust. Riyad Salameh, the head of the central bank, has been indicted all across Europe. There's $60 billion missing from the Lebanese banking system. There's another $75 billion if you take $50 billion of euro bonds plus interest. So you have $130 billion of state debt. They refuse to do a gap assessment. They refuse to deal with the World Bank. They refuse to deal with the IMF. The Électricité du Liban, like the Banque du Liban, is bust, is broke. There's no electricity. You have electricity, you need a private generator. You want water, you need private water. You want education, you need private water. So what's the state? state is Hezbollah. You go south, Hezbollah gives you water, it gives you an education, gives you a stipend, has 40,000 soldiers. LAF, Lebanese Armed Forces, has 60,000 soldiers. The only problem is the Hezbollah soldiers make $2,200 a month. The LAF soldiers make $275 a month. The Hezbollah soldiers have 15,000, 20,000 rockets and missiles. The LAF soldiers are driving old Jeeps, some AK-47s. So which army is which? America is not going to get deeper involved in a situation in which you have a foreign terrorist organization and a failed state dictating a pace and asking them for more resources, more money, more help. It's simple. Lebanon can do what it wants to do. The path is very clear that it needs to be to Jerusalem or Tel Aviv for a conversation, along with Syria. Syria is showing the way. Syria will get there first. Lebanon can draft in it or not. And Israel will react to them accordingly. So we don't have time for this diplomatic cadence. By the way, the diplomatic cadence was used with Iran. And by the way, I like that the Lebanese leadership today is solid. President Aoun, Nouaf, even Speaker Berry. They're trying, but they're dinosaurs. You have to go from the payphone to Starlink, not the payphone to home phones, not home phones then to cell phones. You've got to go to Starlink. And Starlink is you go from Beirut to Tel Aviv. You have that conversation on the blue line, you have the conversation with Syria, and in 4 months you could end all of this. Is that going to happen?
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that we will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.